We're just hanging out right now. Actually, what I'll do is
Lay down on the spoil or sit on the couch. I'll have to sit in the front.
yeah, you'll have to sit in front. Where are you going to sit then?
This is a good selection. These are comfy.
Yeah.
All right.
With short legs, it's the perfect height. Is it?
Nice.
Sometimes the best part of the day is chair spin-offs.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
That's why I like that.
Get that out of the way.
It doesn't touch on here.
All right. Let's just go for it. Okay. Welcome, November. Can you believe it? We're like winding down 2025, kind of crazy. Everybody online can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Just do it. There's nobody's picture, so everybody can hear me. It's on the calendar.
It wasn't in the E.
Oh, sorry. Okay, see, I'm sorry, I forced you. Forced your hand. All right. That's it. There we go. Cool. All right. So welcome everybody. Happy coming up. Don't forget Thanksgiving. Well, I mean, I know you'll remember Thanksgiving. You probably got all sorts of family coming, but got our 2 parties this week. At the beaches on Friday, San Jose on Thursday. So we'll talk about that. Good to see you all. Good to see people online. We appreciate you being here. The value of experience is not in seeing much, but is seen wisely. Remember, my word of the year has been value, because you guys bring so much value to everything. We've had a lot of change, we've had a lot of updates, and still a lot of change going on. I was fortunate to be in Houston with NAR, and there's still a lot of change that's coming down the pike. But you guys have been resilient, you approach it wisely, you take on these tasks, and you look not only to each other, but I appreciate the calls and the feedback and questions so that we can stay on task and stay on top of things. So thank you for doing that. Just remember, it's your experience that really brings the value to what we do, and our customers need us, both buyers and sellers. What I wanted to talk today is a little bit about the end of year check-in, check-up. Now is a really great time. I know that we think that the market is slowing, but I'm going to tell you it doesn't appear to be slowing in a lot of different ways. So it can also be a really great time for you to do some checks and balances in what you've got going on. And as you continue to plan for next year, remember that business planning booklet is right there in app files for you. Or if you don't want it all, take pieces of it, however it works best for you. But we want to check in, check out, just some reminders of things that right now you should be taking a look at. We'll do the trends, the tea, and the talk, just kind of reminding you of a few things that I see in the files, as well as a few things that I think are coming up, just to keep your head in the game and keep you ahead of it. What I will tell you is I know that a lot of you, when I send you back notes about either your files or you have questions about the process, and I say, this is the way that we would like to have it done, I'm teaching you and trying to share with you best practices. Is everybody else on the outside going to be doing that? No. But what I will tell you is if you can give them a little grace and help them a little bit, the transactions will go smoother. We've got our friends and family from lending and title company here. I'm going to tell you, it makes their life easier and makes the process smoother when you can help them out also. So when I say, please send this, or make sure that we get this, or when I say, they've checked item H, which is flood insurance and homeowners insurance, that has nothing to do with flood disclosure, 2 completely separate things. But if they've checked it in the contract, the title company, the underwriter, needs it. The only way to get it so that it doesn't need to be needed is to remove it from the contract. And I get there's confusion in that, but you have that knowledge to share with your people, with the people on the other side of the transaction, to remind them what's there. We build in the flood disclosure to our contracts, so you don't have to add it. The only thing you should ever have to add is something like a CDD disclosure, because it's not already in the list of on paragraph 19. But we'll chat more about that. Just a reminder. We'll talk about our October accomplishments. Damn, I missed it. One more place. Shoot. And then we obviously want to make sure that our business partners have an opportunity to share with you what they've got going on and remind you. So we'll move through quickly and easily today, I hope. End of year check-in, check-up. So things that I think you need to be looking at. Questions I've got for you. From your business plan, do you have a strong domain, whether you like it or not? The consumer is looking for real estate online. Shocker, right? Oh my gosh, no, how could they possibly be? 98% of consumers are starting online. Shouldn't be a big shock to you. But if you don't have a strong domain name, this can be a problem. I get that we like to say we sell Jacksonville. I get that I like to say Clark LeBlond is the best realtor ever.com, but that's not always the way that people are going to look, and it's not always going to bring things up to the top. Remember, you have access to .real estate and .realtor through NAR, and the first year for your .realtor is free. Otherwise, it's $35 or $39 a year, but think how powerful that is. Your name .realtor, it says who you are and what you do. If you don't like that, think about things that might relate to your specific either community or desire, or evaluate your domain name, evaluate your website. Now's the time to take a look at that. The next 2 weeks is a really great time, and that's what we're talking about, the check-in, check-out, check-up. Sorry, not check-out. Check-in, check-up. Don't check out. Step onto your website and get a friend to come to you, either to your page on our site. And remember, if you have a strong domain name, direct it to your page on our site. You're not sure how to do that? We'll help you do that. But until you have a strong website, or at least a strong domain name, some place for people to start, like Tony at Tony Gets You Home team, TonyGetsYouHome.com, people understand what that is. Tony Gets You Home, right? So it's his team and everything. It says who he is and what he does. But what did you, or is it everybody coming to your home?
Designated driver.
Oh, Uber. Anyway, he's branching into the Uber flights. He said it's Tony Gets You. Yeah, always good to have backup. Anyway, but now the next 2 weeks, as people are kind of focused on Thanksgiving, really great time to maybe get into your business a little bit and see what needs to be updated, tweaked, and the domain names and your website really key. We're finding that that's where people are starting, what people are doing. Next, social media. This is something that can be so overwhelming because you think, I can't be on Facebook all the time. I can't be on Instagram all the time. I can't be on here all the time. I can't be on there all the time. But what's great is that even if you just start with the basics, if you start with Facebook, which connects to Instagram, or you start with Instagram and it connects to Facebook, you can do reels, short reels, talking about who you are, talking a little bit about what you do, talking about the market, talking about things in the market. This is what we have to really start focusing on when it comes to social media. If you're looking at your social media plan, you may want to start setting one day every 2 weeks that you plan out your social media for the next month. Why? Because there are a lot of different resources that you can use that will give you collateral for social media that you don't have to do anything other than post it. Now, posting about you is important. People want to connect with you. They want to know you, like you, trust you. I know it's old-fashioned, but it's still a nose-to-nose, toes-to-toes, face-to-face business. So if you can connect with people with things that you like to do, that's that psychographics that I get really hooked up into, where talk to people who connect with you about certain things. Chris and I connect very well about champagne. I don't know why, but we seem to. So if you have a group of people that maybe you want to bring together for a tasting, maybe you want to sponsor a tasting of some sort, maybe you're a foodie, maybe you want to become the expert in a community or a neighborhood, that's great. Whatever it is, that psychographic usually will cross boundaries of economic and social means. So it's a way to connect with people at a variety of different places and spaces. So you have an opportunity to do that. And how can you do that? Social media is a great way to do that. But now is the time to start your plan for next year and to figure out when you're going to put on your calendar that you're going to work on your social media. Who really likes social media? Well, Tony, absolutely. You do a great job with it. So I can see why. But the rest of you don't like social media, but I hate to tell you, none of us, I don't like it a lot. Everybody tells me, thank God Ben's around because we'd never know where you are if you weren't. But I need to get better about sharing either where we're going or what we're doing or what I'm doing or that damn dog Cooper. Anyway, I need to get better about that, but I can also share things about real estate when I see in the market.
Well,
Absolutely.
we have a lot of group sessions around it at Casa Bravana, and a lot of people don't want me posting them. I was taking pictures and posting, my little group of wine tasting parties, and a lot of them don't.
NASA.
And Canasta. How do we handle that?
Well, I think that that's a great, what's your name? Hazel. What Hazel was saying was, sometimes she's with the groups and the people that she's with don't necessarily want to have their image posted on social media. Totally cool. Then you take a picture of yourself with your card game or take a picture of yourself with a bottle of wine and say, I'm so glad I had a chance to spend time with friends today. We got to experience this great wine. So I don't know why I'm going there, but it tells you a little about me anyway. Like you don't. Really seriously.
Commercial, she looked good.
Yeah, so we could just take a picture of you, the coffee, cut out Trish, and then put you back up there and saying, enjoying coffee with my Legends family. Picked up the thing. Right. And I think that brings up another great point when it comes to your social media and planning your social media, thinking about what you're doing. You've got access to Photofy, which is put together by NAR, which is free to you. It's an app. There is all sorts of collateral on there. All you have to do is download Photofy. After we get done talking, if you want to see it, I've got it on my phone. Based on any of your designations, like your CRB, like my CIPS, like just being a realtor, there is collateral on there already set up for you. You can customize it to you with one click, and then you post it right out. You push it right out to your social media. It talks about fair housing. It talks about things going on in our industry. So it's more industry related, but it is free to you. And it's a way for you to develop your social media prowess without having to spend a lot of time in it. Also on the NAR website, if you go up under your collateral, there's a button up there on the right that you can pick out, and it's got all sorts of infographics. Infographics are great for social media. They're already there, and most of those are not real estate related, except that they're related to the consumer buyer seller. 10 tips to do for your home, things to help you move, all sorts of different collateral that you can use that you don't have to think of. You don't have to worry about how do I work Canva. You don't have to worry about where do I get a picture. You don't have to worry about what's licensed to me, what's not. Those two resources alone will save you a shitload of time for your social media. Ma'am.
Class for the oldies who don't know how to do all this stuff.
Well, you know what? That's a great idea. Why don't we do a social media class focusing on Photofy and the collateral that you can get, because you can also get collateral from Real MLS. So that's already there for you too. So, all right, we'll do that. No problem. We've had a couple, but it's always good reminders, right? So maybe we'll set up our next Tuesday training for that. That would be next Tuesday. Ooh. Well, you know what?
But there are a couple of us here that do.
Well, and timing, they won't show up if they don't need it. Absolutely. What I can say is that sometimes we forget that we need it, and sometimes the timing is not right. So we do try and record all those and put them onto the YouTube channel so that you can just pop out there and see them too. So it's another great thing to add for. Really is easy, isn't it? Yeah. If you want to go out to third party, think about Keeping Current Matters, which posts things for you. Others of you have gone and gotten personal PR things. Keep your pipeline full. So what are we doing for the rest of the year? Seasonality doesn't exist the way that it used to, but I will tell you, November and December tend to be still strong months for people trying to close before the end of the year. And we're already into mid-November. So people looking now are trying to close before the end of the year. Not a bad thing. Think about next year as you're moving forward, how to keep your pipeline full. What are we doing now? Check in where your pipeline, how you filled your pipeline this year. In other words, was it from past customers? Was it from referrals? How did we get those pieces of business? Where did we pick up those pieces of business? What corner were we on? Kathy. Right? Not sharing her corner because it was a good one. Anyway, where are you at in those? Now start thinking about how that's going to work for next year. So if I had past customers that were my big push this year, they're probably not going to be buying or selling again for about 7 years. So what can we do with them to help them give us referrals or to refer us out? Or what other opportunities can we have? We work a lot on referrals, but then what other opportunities do we have? Are there communities? Are there local businesses that we're engaged with or that we connect with? Is there a restaurant that you go to often? Is there a segment of the community that you're really involved with? So start to think about how your pipeline will remain full next year based on what you're thinking and what you're doing. Anybody have something they want to share that they're thinking that is something they want to target for next year? They want help with? You got great resources, ma'am.
2 or 3 years, they might be good people to reach out to, hey, how are things going? And, you've done well on your house, we've got some equity, perhaps an investment property or a second home or something.
Great.
They could do out there.
Two great messages: second homes, investment properties. And where can you get those lists? You can get those lists right out of MMT. Right out of MMT, you pull up people who have purchased it, between, what year is this? 2025. So between, 2018 and 2021 or something like that. In a specific market or a specific price point or a specific style. There's so much that you can segment out within MMT and get a full list. And if you want, it's 19 cents a pop, but if you want, you can get their email address and phone number by using my MMT and pulling that list also. So there's lots of resources. Yes, Kathy, I think that we can go ahead and do a class on that one too. Sure. But talking about keeping your pipeline moving forward. And then while it should be first, it's the last question on here is where's your balance? Really important. Where's your balance? You have families, you have friends, you have interests. You need to re-energize, whether it's learning another language, whether it's taking a trip, whether it's knitting. I don't care what it is. You have got to set time aside for that balance, Sharon. Anyway, it's so important. It's so important. Whether it's, Sunday afternoon dinners, don't be the one to cook, be the one to enjoy, let everyone bring something. Whether it's bowling with friends, whether it's reading a book, whether it's and this is one of the things I definitely miss about being in this office. About twice a week, I would walk over to the beach and just sit my happy ass down on the beach because it just was that whole refresher, the water, the whole thing. So whatever it is, you got to find that balance. And it's so important that when you're looking at your business plan and your business for next year, that you really take a look at that. Where is that balance coming in? I know we're pushing you hard on pipelines and we're trying to find different ways to help you build your business. But we need the balance for you too. We need to help you with that balance. And that's what we do want to help you with that balance. Anything here that anybody wants to comment on, add to, push towards, bring up, share?
I do like what's the balance? There was an agent a while ago when I was doing a transaction, his phone message said, if you're calling after 7 o'clock, I will get back with you the next day. Because I think when you're in a transaction or with clients or in the middle of something, you don't know when to stop. And I find that it becomes counterproductive almost, and you have to have time for yourself. And I think that's interesting what you said is have time to go, but that could be maybe something to be taught, no matter if you're what level you're at, just the boundaries almost.
Sure.
I think that's very important.
And I hate to shift the focus a little bit, but if you do something like that, which I respect, if you say, if you're calling after 8 o'clock or after 7 o'clock, please know that I will call you back first thing in the morning. That's fine. Just make sure your business model matches that. Remember, our current contracts go up until midnight, 11:59:59. So let's set the expectations. I think that's ties in with what we're doing with social media in our pipeline, what's in the background of all of this is what we do, how our buyer consults go, how our seller consults go, setting those expectations for an understanding of this is when I'm available, this is when I can, and yes, text me 911 and I know that that's something that we need to discuss, but just make sure that your personal balance matches into what you're saying in your business balance also, because that'll be important. Anything else? Sure, Jonathan.
I just wanted to touch on a domain name, something I yesterday. There's a website called base44.com. It'll turn your personal website into an app that you can put on your phone and you can share with your buyer.
Wow, that's great.
Instead of having them go directly on a web page to your URL, you can type into it like a prompt, take this website and turn it into an app, and then you can tell it how to customize, brand it, and then put it on your phone, and then share that with your buyer, so they don't have to go to a web page. They can just open their iPhone and they can just tap on their app.
So that was base44.com.
I'm sure there's other AI platforms, but that was the one that just caught my eye. Yesterday.
So this is another AI opportunity. Lots of things going on with AI. We heard at NAR. So base44.com, an opportunity to take a website, your personal website, change it into an app for you. You already have personalized apps through MLS Touch, but this is another way to have your custom website be more user friendly as our consumers are so much on the go. I think that's very important. Thank you for that suggestion. Good. So just some things to check in. If you could check in with your business, check it out. If you want to do a one-on-one, I'm always open to that. So we can do some business planning or talk about a specific piece or just watch for our Tuesday trainings, and see, pop in with us. If there's special questions, please just let us know. 10 to 12 usually. Almost every Tuesday. We'll look at next Tuesday. Since it's Thursday for Thanksgiving, yeah, we should be doing it next Tuesday, so we should be good. Let's see where we're there. Trends, tea, and the talk. Just a few things, reminders. The seller controlled marketing disclosure. You remember that. What's interesting, I will say, is that with the 3-day window, we're seeing very few seller waivers of entry and very few coming soon. So I don't know if I'm just missing them or what, but interesting. So the seller controlled marketing disclosure was the new disclosure that came out about 30 days ago. And what you want to do is, if your customer's choosing to do option one is coming soon. You just need to initial option one and tell the date that you're going active. You have 30 days. You can go active anytime within that 30-day window. If you're going to do some sort of seller waiver, this is option 2. In other words, your seller has decided either to keep it out of MLS, the listing out of MLS for the perpetuity of the listing, which is very challenging because the minute it goes public, it needs to go into MLS. So if they're electing to keep it out in perpetuity, that's one option for a seller waiver. The second option for a seller waiver is, I want to keep it out of MLS for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I want to go active on a specific date. We're having a little confusion. If the seller is choosing option 2, the seller must either select A or B. A being in perpetuity, B being we're going a specific day. The thing that I just want you to remember is if you're keeping the listing out of MLS for any period of time, they have to initial twice. Once that they're choosing the seller waiver, and which they're choosing, either A or B. That's all. So that's all. We're missing that second initial. So just watch that on that seller controlled. Call me if they're thinking about it. Let's work it together before you get in front of them. Not a problem. No rep buyers. Anybody had one? Tony's had a couple.
Well, we never got it to the point because they couldn't get it done. They didn't have anybody working with them in order to help guide them, so we didn't.
Didn't end up happening, huh? But I remember they wrote stuff on a piece of paper. Oh no, they pulled something from.
They pulled something off of like some website and just filled in a couple things, crossed out a whole bunch of stuff and just said, if we agree, we can fill it in real on a regular form.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
yeah, so, oh, well, here's something on a napkin. If we agree, then we'll fill it in later. What they're doing is they're pushing that back to you because here's the deal, and these are our policies on how we do this. You can show our listing, your listing, or any other Legends of Real Estate listing. You have the right to show that to a buyer without a buyer broker agreement. Please note that no buyer broker agreement, not the property pre-touring, not the exclusive buyer, not the showing agreement. You can show a buyer your listing or any of our company listings without a buyer broker agreement. Why? Because they're held by us. Who are you representing? You're representing the seller. Can you answer questions about the property? Yes, you can answer general questions about the property. If they start to talk about financing, if they start to talk about offer terms, if they start to talk about anything else, repairs, your opinion of, stop the ball. You are not representing them. You cannot represent them. If they want to hire you, absolutely make it move forward. But if they're there representing themselves, you have a point that you have to stop. It's liability for you, it's liability for us. So please remember that. If they write something on a piece of paper, if they write, I would like to offer 700,000, that is an offer. You must present that. Even if your seller says, no. If your seller says, what else goes with 700, and you say, you can make up whatever you want at this point, then now that's the responsibility that comes to you with the seller, and you and the seller would use our approved forms to write what would be a counter offer to the buyer. You and the seller would create the offer to the buyer. So the only person signing is the seller. The buyer would then review the terms and potentially counter you back, right? At that point, when you send that potential counter over, I need you to send the no brokerage relationship form with that. This is acknowledgement that that buyer understands you are not representing them. If you want to do it as a single agent, you can. You don't have to. It's not an issue. But please remember that at that point, when you send that back and you send that no brokerage relationship, we need that sign. They need to understand that we are not representing them. Okay? If they then said, oh, well, this is like overwhelming, they start to ask you questions about the contract. I'm sorry, I can't. I can refer you to one of our title companies. I can refer you to Leah and she can help you with that. But I can't. I'm not working for you. If you want me to work for you, I'm happy to interview and work for you and get an agreement with you, but otherwise I can't. And I'm so stringent on these things because what we forget is that what you do is a ripple effect. And because of the DOJ and their rules and the way that we're being scrutinized consistently, you guys have no idea how many lawsuits are out there right now. It is absolutely ridiculous, the number of lawsuits right now. It is absolutely ridiculous that a realtor in South Florida would sue the entire state and most of the MLS boards in the state because they say we're not doing enough to enforce the buyer broker agreement. And then he would be silly enough to write his own lawsuit. Like, not even get an attorney. Why couldn't he get an attorney? Because no one would represent him. So anyway, that's my opinion. That's not, please don't attribute that to anyone else.
Difficult one.
Okay.
The buyer, he wouldn't sign anything.
Right.
He didn't want representation. I had the seller, and so he had talked to the seller, he didn't want any represent, he was not gonna sign a broker relationship, non-broker relationship.
Oh, he wouldn't even sign that.
No.
Okay.
And then they came up with their own attorney contract, which was very poorly written. So we closed it.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, Ryan, just tell me when to be at the closing. Because even in this particular case, even the seller, even though the seller's in contract with us, the seller, they knew each other, so kind of just went along with it. Like, look, I don't want to lose the guy.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
nobody basically signed any. I mean, other than making sure the money got, has to be and things like that. They just were not willing to.
Right.
Okay, start over.
Yeah. Okay. So, and
He's scared that if the deal goes wrong, like they knew each other, obviously, so there's that thing, but there's that.
through email, I do email.
Yeah, okay.
And that's-
That one, you know.
And here's what I,
Closing, would you like me to do this? Would you like me to do? And I kept communicating with the seller. No, he said, I don't want to scare him off. So I had everything in writing that if something went down, you two are like, what are you guys doing? But
Did you have then yourself, I would almost have the seller sign something saying instead of, if the buyer didn't want to sign anything, the seller say, you understand that your buyer, the buyer didn't want to sign anything.
right.
Well, just to cover yourself, right?
Right, and as much of an asshole as I am about a bunch of this stuff, if you talk to me about the situation, I know that we can come up with something. So, and what Sharon did was made sure that everyone knew that she was not representing the buyer through trying to get them presenting the no brokerage relationship. They refused to sign. She said, great, I just wanted to acknowledge that I've sent this over to you and understand that you're not interested in signing this. Please know that at this time I'm not representing you. That's me paraphrasing. She did it much better. But the most important part of all of that is you need to copy the app files. We need to have that in the app files. So just copy app files on any of those emails. Just copy the app file address and put it into anything that you're communicating. I'd love to have it signed. Please know if it's a difficult situation like that one was, an email is the best, not a text, please. Email is the best, and copy the app files. That's really what we need. So, but they seem to be a little more apparent these days. Sorry, the non-rep buyer. But thanks for that example because it makes it very clear, what we're trying to do is not slow down the transaction and not prevent the transaction. We're trying to ensure that everybody knows what the best practices are and how to make things happen for the best for everybody. And that's including all of you. So if you run into a situation, just call. We'll help you through it. Right? Oh, that's right. As long as you're okay. Yeah, right. I like that, JCC. Well, hey. All right. Just so you know, we have removed the compensation agreement from the listing packages. That is no longer in the listing packages. The reason is because while the thought process was initially that if you had your seller acknowledge the compensation agreement at a certain percentage that they were, or a certain compensation level that they were willing to do, that you could usurp some of the phone calls back and forth. Well, the phone calls have really diminished to almost zero. Some people are calling and asking about compensation, but very few are. The compensation agreement is what you're going to make sure. And this is the seller to buyer's broker or the seller's broker to buyer's broker. You'll add those to your offer, and that's what should be happening. The buyer side should be sending over what the request is. And then your seller can say, no, yes, maybe so, I'll do this. So, and that's either through the modification or making the change. So we've taken it out of there because I think it was causing some confusion. The other piece was there were not any of us, thankfully, but there were agents that were putting these compensation agreements in the homes, in their listings with their flyers. And so then it was already signed by the seller, and then the buyer's broker signed it, and that committed the seller to a specific amount. Now, can those amounts always be negotiated? They can, but it set a precedence for what the expectation was, and then caused more challenges when there was confusion over the negotiation steps in the process. So we've taken that out of the listing. So that shouldn't, where it is it's in the buyer's packages. So when you pull a buyer's package, it's there. Just make sure. You won't know, unless you ask, of course, whether the listing was taken as a seller to buyer's broker or seller's broker to buyer's broker. That is a good question to ask. But your buyer should be asking for whatever they would like the seller to pay, or whatever expectation they have that the seller should be paying in a compensation agreement that goes with your offer. And that should be accompanied by addendum GG also to ensure that it gets executed, right? Make sense or not? If there's confusion, JCC. I like it. Thank you very much. Also, just some things to remember. Our San Jose holiday potluck is November 20th. That's 11 to 1, San Jose office. We've got our beaches holiday potluck November 21st. That's Friday, 11 to 1. So we're putting up the trees, menorahs, we'll be hanging out. Come, get a bite, enjoy. You should have seen the links that went out for those. If you have any questions about those, just give us a ring. The WCR installation is November 20th. So that's 5 o'clock, I think, on November 20th. If you're part of WCR or been involved with WCR, that's a wonderful thing to go to. And then our hunger fight is December 5th. I believe as of last check, we had 11 out of 16 people signed up. So we're going to have 2 tables, which is great. Everyone is welcome. Everyone's invited. If there comes a conflict for the 5th, that's all right. Don't worry. We can always fill in your spot, but we'd love to have you with us. Okay?
If you haven't been to that, it's really,
It's
At downtown.
Okay.
No, they have, we're not doing it Ramallah because Hunger Fight now has their own building. Yeah. 2222 Harper. Yeah. Don't forget about buyer, broker. Went too far. There you go. Oh, shoot. Damn it. 20, and there it went. 2222 Harper. All right. October accomplishments. I love the stuff. Anyway, for our listings, for the beaches, we've got Sharon Mills. Congratulations. Very nice. For San Jose, we have Shannon Jive. Yay. And then we have the Tony Gets You Home team, and our company tops is Shannon for listing. So congratulations. For written business, we have at the beaches, Sharon Mills. So see, end of year, very, very popular time. For San Jose, we have Renee Hansen. Congratulations. And the Tony Gets You Home team. And our company tops is Sharon. Yay, that's good. And for production, for the beaches, we have Mark Tudor with 5.6 closed. San Jose, Karen Zambetti with almost 3 million. And for teams, we've got Selby and Linda with 1.7. So congratulations. Company top was Karen Zambetti. That should be over Mark Tudor. Mark Tudor was company tops. He's what?
So he's not gonna get it.
Yeah. We have some really great stuff going on for November and December. So I think when it comes to the old seasonality where you saw things pushing October, November, I think we're still actually seeing that. I think that seasonality seems to be holding because we're seeing a slight decrease in listings, a slight increase, very slight increase in list to sales price percentage. We're still down to about 96, 95%, which, I know that your sellers are used to 98, but I will tell you, one of the things we saw, Lawrence Yun, who's from NAR, who's as dry as they come, but actually is so very funny. He was saying that if you haven't had an offer or under contract after about 8 showings, you're usually at about a 7% price reduction. If you go over about 8 showings, it's usually up to close to 8% to 9% after you make a couple of price reductions, 8% to 9% price reductions, that then you get more showings and potentially another offer, and then it goes down from there. But our sellers are used to something different. Anyway, written over $1 million in October. We'd like to congratulate Sharon at 2.1 and Renee at 1.7. So congratulations. If we look at where we were for close, Mark Tudor with 5.6, Karen Zambetti with 2.7, Evelyn Martin with 1.3, and Michelle Stewart with a little over $1 million. Selby and Linda with 1.6, and the Tony Gets Your Home team with 1.2. So closed over $1 million in October. Yay! Pretty darn cool. And then, so where are we year to date? So let's take a look at listings. I have to close so I can see it. Oh, I can sort of see it. All right, so for October, listings 6.5. So we were at 10 listings at 6.5 million, and we had 15 listings in last year at 8.2. Slightly higher price, slightly lower number. We're looking at 103 million, 103.6 million in listings with 161 versus 175 last year. So we're up over last year volume-wise by about 1.2. A lot of that's in price point. What I will tell you is we usually are running, in the past about 5 years, we've been running almost neck and neck 50-50 listing sales. We've shifted slightly. Sales, 55, listings, 45%. Can't list, can't last. Old realtors never die. They just go listless. We get it. But this is that market area and where we would like to see us increasing because we're seeing listings increase in the market. Those should be coming to you. So that's an area that we probably need to take a look at what we're doing listing wise to help you. Seller consults, getting you in front of certain people, how it is. Or actually, before we do that, we need to hear back from you on where those listing opportunities are or why we may not be getting those listing opportunities. So I'd like to see that increase just a little bit. We are seeing some pretty good stuff come for November, though, I will say. Written business, October 8.9 versus 5.8. Congratulations. See, you're writing them. You're definitely writing them. Higher price points. So 14 versus 13. Oops. I don't know what did I do? Come back. Damn you. No, it's not over. I'm trying. Sorry. So I didn't want to go over, I don't want to miss this because this is really good stuff. 26 million ahead of last year. I know we're at about 147, 148. So that, that to close at 175 is kind of our target range that we're looking at. There's definitely opportunity for that. And, when we're looking at our written business, I mean, I think there's huge opportunity in that. But the fact that and remember, I also look at fall through and what comes back. And your fall through rates are ridiculously low. I mean, you're seeing them at 9 and 12% in a lot of other brokerages. We're seeing maybe 2 and 3%. And it's not that they fall through and don't come back. They fall through and you find them something else. So, and our fall through rate has shrunk a little bit from about 4 to about 2%. So we're doing really well in that written and sticking business. And you can kind of see it when it comes to our close. 17.9 million closed in October versus 9.5 last year. We're at 135 versus 128. We're about 7 million ahead. This number, so we're talking about a $40 million kind of gap between where we would like to see our year close and where we're at. Can we do it? I think there's every possibility to do that. We've had $20 million months. So I think there's every possibility to do that with a push to the end of the year. That's why we wanted to check in, check up, check out, not check out, check in, check up, don't check out. There we go. Check in, check up, check out. I think there's a lot of good things happening for you guys for the end of the year and to set you up for a really strong year. Remember, this is when a lot of realtors go, nothing's going to happen in first quarter. I'm going to sit back right now. Now is not the time to sit back. Now's the time to look at what other opportunities. We talked about social media. What can I do social media first quarter? Is first quarter a good time to have an event for past customers? First quarter could be a really great opportunity to do some print marketing that not a lot of people, agents, are doing these days. Should you take advantage of maybe Homes and Land? Should you take advantage of a local publication? Should you take advantage of something in print to put your beautiful faces out there and talk a little bit about who you are and what you do? Now could be a really good time to do that. So I think we've got a really good chance at knocking it out of the park the last 2 months. And we all appreciate how much you're putting into what you're doing and how you're doing it, because we know that you set the bar very high for the people on the other side, whether you're working with buyers or sellers, and we appreciate that. On that top 10, we've got Sharon at 22 million, Renee excuse me, how do I get this out of here so we can see these numbers because they're good. Dang it off. Move it.
You X out.
I know, but I got to get my cursor over there. There we go.
Yes.
It's okay, I don't mind showing it 290,000.
Yeah, right. Well, 22,290,000. Renee with 9.8, Mark Tudor with 9.5, Karen Zambetti with 8, Maria Pappas with 8, Faith Danford with near 7, Liz McMahon with 6.5, Lyle with 6.2, Diane with 4.1, and Hazel with 3.6. I got to tell you, not only big claps, but big hoorays, lots of balloons, lots of things flying in the air. You guys have really stepped it up in a 2-year market that has been very, very challenging. You have really stepped it up. So thank you. This is really great. Tony gets you home team at 6 and Selby and Linda at 4.1 on our teams. Still amazing, amazing numbers in a time that has been extremely challenging and a lot of changes. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much for making us look good on all fronts and for all the other things you do, not only in your communities, but connecting with your customers and bringing us to their face, which through you, which is really fantastic. We appreciate it very much. All right, comments and questions. I passed right by that. Does anybody have any comments or questions? My finger is so excited. Right now.
Oh, you go.
No, you go.
The one thing I would share when you were saying about the fourth quarter being the strongest, that has always been for me. Yeah, I do find on here, but the fourth quarter when everybody else is stopping,
Yeah.
I just go hard. And most people that are calling me now, they call and they say, yeah, we want to talk to you about going on for next year. And I always say, why not now? Like, why not now? And I tell people when I worked for General Motors, every move we had was I bought a house either in November or December. So that's probably why I have a different mindset. Every single our transfers were always effective January 1st. So that was the biggest block of time that you're out Thanksgiving and then Christmas. So we were always house hunting. So for my entire career, I've always had that mindset. And it's like, and people say, well, I've never thought, well, with Christmas. And I'm like, it's okay. Just don't go heavy on Christmas. But you want to be seen when everybody else has stopped showing. Because everybody is pulling off for Christmas and Thanksgiving. We'll give you Thanksgiving off, we'll give you Christmas off, but be that person that will go up to the 23rd, and if you don't want to come back on until after the 20th, till the 27th, we can put you in withdrawal or whatever, but I sell so much before quarter. So when people are calling to say next year, and then the other thing, and I tell them too, especially now, things are taking 2, 3, 4 months to sell. And I say, go ahead and be seen while nobody else is out there. And again, in January, everybody's going to start thinking about coming on. So that gives you a good 4 months before you get the heavy competition. And it seems to work.
I think it's great. Thank you. I think that's a great testament to why we need to push hard in that fourth quarter and to set us up for success in the first quarter, which is an unusual mindset for a lot of real estate professionals. And I think that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Kathy.
We have so many families that are visiting here, and that's when they want to work. And we got parents coming to see their children, and boy, this is nice, So I think Christmas and Thanksgiving is a great time to have a listing. Okay, the other thing I was gonna say, I saw online today that fish camp, Palm Valley Fish Camp just went on the market for $15,500. One of us should sell that.
Yeah, the lease is, you have to have the restaurant too.
That's okay. But that's a good commission right there.
She made microwave. Think about how to make it with microwave.
I was very impressed to see that. I thought, man, I would love to sell that piece.
Yeah.
Well, go for it, Kathy. Nobody's holding you back.
Kathy's reminding us the Palm Valley Fish Camp is for sale for $15,500. $15,500. Good number. And you guys, if you take a peek in MLS, which I've been here for 100 years. When we would look for things over 10 million, there was nothing back in 97, 99, 2001. You look over 10 million right now, you got a lot to choose from, including Palm Valley Fish Camp. Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's really crazy.
So our business partners, they were so kind to meet with us and if you didn't see the Survey Monkey, please take a look for it. I'll resend it out. We need your feedback on a couple of those things. And then our business partners, thanks for being here. We've got 3 of them. So Karen, how are you today?
It's great. These people, and I always feel like
4.
important to be grateful. The whole month of November is to be grateful and count your blessings, because we're all here, we're all still standing, and we have blessings to count. Please grab one of my blessing jars on the way out. Each little snack has a special blessing, and the little paper on top tells you what each little snack blessing is. And my flyer this month, which is something I didn't even know about, but on conventional loans now, we can waive escrows with as little as 5% down. So that could help some buyers who are struggling with that monthly payment, but have the ability, to pay the taxes and insurance separately. So that's my spiel.
Thank you for your.
I'm sorry, I forgot Trish is over here, so sitting low. Trish.
Good to see everybody. Yeah, thank you for having me. I just want to let you guys know something new that I've started. I get phone calls a lot of times when there's been a closing. And if title is sending the check, there's kind of that lapse from the close of escrow to when the buyer gets their welcome packet, because we wait on that check, then we send the welcome information. What I have started doing on behalf of the agents is I send an email to the buyer that basically depends on how it goes. So you'll probably be hearing from me also asking, did you negotiate it? Was the seller providing it? But did you ask, that sort of thing? Because I'm sending an email that says, congratulations on your home and good for you for working with, Kathy as far as your realtor. She negotiated this warranty, of this value at no cost to you. And then it kind of goes through how they'll handle claims, that I'm a contact for them and all of that. So it's just another nice touch point for you guys. And it kind of takes that question off the table from the buyers going, well, what am I going to get information and all of that. So if you do have a situation where you know that you specifically negotiated or you paid for it or something like that, let me know, because that's again how I want to send the email to the buyer.
Great. Thank you for taking the step forward. We appreciate that. Leah, so good to see you.
Yeah, this with a lot of you. So I know Riley, I think came to one of the last meetings, but I wasn't able to come. So I have worked with Riley for 21 years. So I'm a licensed title agent. I am not an attorney, but we do have 5 attorneys on staff. And so please reach out to me. I would love to get to know all of you. I was listening to some of the social media stuff. I have been learning a lot more about it. I listen to a lot of podcasts on social media and communication in general and how important it is. So I think relationships are super important, and that's where I've always had more focus. I'm not a real salesy person, but I do like to build relationships. So if you're interested in knowing more about me or our company, I would love to meet you for coffee or lunch, or just give me a call if you have any kind of question. Just from my experience in the industry, I'm more than happy to help.
Thank you. And she does. I call her all the time. Anyway, and you have an office right out here?
One near the town center, and then our other one, we do have one in St. Johns County across from Patriot Oaks Academy.
So great. So moving around.
Can you close through the drive-through?
You still can close the drive-through. Our Riverside location has it's an old house, so it has the 2 windows and a curved back. So during COVID, we had a drive-through, which a lot of people use, and we still use it. It's not as often, but if you have someone who's handicapped or just can't get out of the car or has some mobility issues, we can definitely still do the drive-through. Actually, I'd like to do it, but it doesn't like a lot. It's fun.
It is fun.
Drive-through closings. That's great. And we can't forget Alan.
Yeah.
Big Al.
I did not go to NAR in Houston, but I feel like I did because I just read the NAR forecast for next year, which is pretty cool. And it says we last 3 years we've been stuck nationally around 4 million units sales nationally. It's a big number, but that's below like 5.5 million, which is normal nationally, 5.5 million. And next year they're projecting a 17% increase, which is 560,000. And Florida is what, the 3rd most populous state in the country, so that's not too shabby. So maybe if we just get like 100,000 here in Jacksonville, that'd be fun, right? That'd be good. So that's some good news. Plus, they're also forecasting rates to be right below 6 or right around 6, kind of where we are right now, all through next year. But we know forecasts don't mean a whole lot, right? They just something fun to talk about. So That's what I do. About fun stuff. What else? Oh, so the holidays, people don't want to show their houses. They don't want to be bothered with people trying through their house during the holidays. They got to have a tree up. They don't want people taking their presents and stuff like that, right? So what if you could take that away and tell your seller they could buy before they sell? They don't have to worry about having their house show ready all the time. So that's what we specialize in. We've had really good success with it. We bridge their equity to the new house, and then they can worry about selling it later and get it staged and set up properly, move and not have to move twice. So it's worked really well. We have really good track record and a lot of happy customers with it. So anyways,
Cool.
that's it.
Thank you.
Yay.
And did I miss anybody? Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Nice dance.
Meet people for San Jose on Thursday. So come hungry, meet us
At San Jose.
at San Jose.
And two good couple of points to tack onto that part. Just
Yes.
Meet to eat.
meat to eat. Okay, great.
Need to stop while you're.
We're going gas.
Waiting for Tony to pipe in and then it's really. It's that Tony. You don't want here.
We have the 5-year-olds here, so just be careful. He's saving it all up.
Bill. Those are the gentlemen that are providing the protein for our.
For the beaches. Yeah. That's the meat men.
There's another one.
And we're happy that you did.
In it.
But we're happy that you did. So okay, we have lost complete control. The only thing. Hang on. So we're discussing the fact that we have no HR. Oh, God, here she goes.
There are questions because Clark and I did have some conversation that about our meetings next year because as the beginning of the year we always have a full office. Getting toward the end of the year we start getting very slim and our meetings are very, very important. We're looking at making some changes where it's not going to be as accessible. We really want to see you guys and once a month is not a lot to ask, especially the amount of time the park spends on putting a meeting together. That we want to have you here so that we can see you, can give you a hug, can touch you, and a lot of things happen before the meeting and after the meeting, during the meeting, sometimes more than others, right, Tim? And so really they want your feedback, and Tuesdays don't have to be the perfect day to do the meetings, and we're looking at some different, opportunities, so please, the feedback is really important for us as we're gonna move forward next year for you to answer those survey questions. So that's really important, and please, Thursday and Friday, so that we can put our trees up and our menorahs and all of that good stuff. We'd love to see everybody. It just gives us that one opportunity in the year to be able to come together and spend some quality time together. So we really look forward. And if you can go to both, you can go to both. If you want to see some of the people that tend to go to San Jose or the ones that that come here, just sign up and bring make a big batch of food and split it and take it to both locations.
Cool. Anybody online have a comment or a listing they want to share? I've got the chat open. Lost a couple of people from online, so I think we're okay. Anyway, all right. So thank you guys. Sorry, couple follow-ups. I think pushing the marketing for listings for November, December is great. Just remember, if you have professional photos taken and there's decorations in them, you may want to have them take additional photos later on or at the same time, Or if you're doing any staging, this includes AI staging or virtual staging, you must show the home as is without, right? So if it's an empty room, got to show the empty room and then the virtual stage, put virtual stage in the tag. AI, we're having a lot of opportunities with AI, but we're also having a lot of pushback because what people are doing with AI. And it might be trying to make something look better, and it might be just learning how things work. So we'll give grace.
Staging, you have a point across that this is purely virtual staging.
Yeah, if you
But you gotta show the vacant.
you're supposed to show the vacant one also. Yeah, so that people know that we've had a lot of pushback from consumers. Yeah, pretty much. Good point. All right, you guys, thanks so much. We appreciate everything. Have a great day. Stick around, have a drink, and say hi to Teresa.
Thank you, Clark. Thank you.
Christine, what was your biggest
Ron,
takeaway from Houston?
I didn't know.
You didn't go? Hello.
No, I didn't go.
Clark, what was your biggest takeaway from Houston?